The following may contain offensive language, adult humor, and/or content that some viewers may find offensive. The views and opinions expressed by any one speaker does not explicitly or necessarily reflect or represent those of Mark Radulich or W2M Network. Please listen with caution, or don't listen at all.
TV party tonight! TV party tonight! We're firing up the TV party pots tonight! Alright! 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 Screens light up, brains shut down, talking trash about the best shows in town. No homework, no disguise, just hot takes on the studio line. Sit down! Lock in! Hit play! Let the noise begin! Lock in another episode, another spin! No ratings! No mercy! No skipping the commercials of culture! TV party tonight! TV party tonight! Same screen, same fight, same damn podcast tonight! Alright!
Yeah, it's going to take a while to get used to that new theme song. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome and good evening. Welcome to TV Party Tonight. I'm your host, Alexis Hejna. Joining me, I think this is his final TV Party Tonight with me for a while because Lord knows I have had this man on a leash for the last couple of months, Mr. Jesse Starcher.
Hey, what is going on? My goodness. Yeah, I can't believe this will be the last one for a while. I mean, we knocked out a ton of TV. So much so that Mark was giving me a hard time about, like, well, when is he not giving me a hard time?
Yeah, when does he not give either of us a hard time?
Yeah.
We are that man's emotional punching bags.
Apparently he's giving me a hard time that I've been watching a lot of TV. And I'm like, dude, you are the one that like started this trend. So I don't know where he's coming from.
No kidding. I guess it's just like, dude, you're the one who asked me to take over the show, okay? This
Right.
is what happens.
There you go. There you go.
Also joining us, one of my personal favorite artists, Mr. Ben Cologne. Hello there.
Good evening, everybody. Everybody's still in a deep freeze.
Yeah.
It was actually not bad today. It was in the 40s, but it's going to get like down to 10 this weekend.
All right. Show of hands real quick. When they were children or were last in school, did they ever cancel school because it was too cold? Okay. All right.
Not often. Not often. Usually it was a case of it was so cold, we were talking like pipes were freezing at the schools kind of a thing.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. I think my kids have gotten at least, I'd say 5 days off, not this year, but in total of their school career, actually off because it was too cold out. And of course, you know, us old heads are like, come on, when's the last time? We were never snow on the ground, chains were on the tires, and it was never too cold for school, for crying out loud. Lucky ones.
Most of my school time was spent in Florida, so we didn't get snow. We didn't get snow days. We got hurricane days.
Never
it's
had
not too cold to go to school. The school's been blown into another county.
Yeah.
Yeah. Growing up in Kansas City, we had a decent amount of snow days, but yeah, I think we had one or two where it was too cold. But yeah, that's when like the whole city shuts down. It's too cold.
Right.
Yeah. All right, but we're talking about not when it's too cold, but when it's just too dangerous to send your kids to school because you never know when they're going to be eaten by a giant, scary clown. We're talking It, Welcome to Derry. This premiered on HBO and HBO Max. Probably should have pulled the data up here. On October 26, 2025. It ended in December, but we were a little crazy here at the Radulich and Broadcasting Network trying to get through the holidays. I didn't really feel like coming down on Jesse saying, so I know that you've been working with me nonstop covering Stranger Things and Has Been Hotel and Alien Earth and everything else, but can you squeeze one more show in before Christmas? No, I wasn't going to do that to him. So I said, let's just take a breather. We'll get to this in January. The only downside is I finished this in December, and now I'm struggling to go back through my notes going, wait, what did I watch?
Yeah, this was one of those shows though that I was watching before we even had an idea to do it, because I was so interested and captivated by like the first few episodes. When you mentioned if there was any interest, I was like, yeah, I'd like to talk about this. So yeah, this is one of those ones where it wasn't an assignment. It was more like I have no problem talking about this one.
And Ben, yeah, I noticed you were laying out a bunch of comments talking about watching the show, and I asked you, "Hey, are you interested in it?" So, what got your attention about this show?
Because first of all, I'm a huge lifelong Stephen King fan. Like one of the first like not non-children's books I ever read was The Gunslinger when I was like 10 years old.
Nice,
so
very nice.
So this has always been my thing, and I always had a soft spot for it, the book. In fact, I've got it like out of sight, like right over here. I was flipping through it a little bit earlier today. And I liked the original TV movie. I liked the the remakes from 2017, 2019. They were I thought they were pretty good. The show ended up kind of exceeding my expectations for, even from what was set up from what I've seen in the remakes. And I like a Stephen King adaptation that feels like it's very affectionate. And this felt like it was very affectionate. It felt like it was a big old love letter to, kind of Stephen King's own little multiverse that he's put together over the past 50 something years. And also, I'm looking for an excuse to find some people to talk about it with.
Well, Stephen King has made it clear that all of his work is contained in the same universe. It's all the same thing. It's all the same places, which makes you realize just how many cities in Maine King is essentially just condemned to just obliteration. I think I said that after we reviewed The Monkey, and then it's like, wow, you killed like half the town last night. It's like, oh, there's another city in Maine that's, just gone away along with Jerusalem's lot in Derry. So it is kind of fun to see just how much this does intertwine with other Stephen King properties. We got a full cast, including Taylor Page, Jovan Adepo, James Remar, Matilda Lawler, Chris Chalk, Madeline Stowe, and of course, Bill Skarsgård returning as everyone's, should I say favorite clown? Is Pennywise anyone's favorite clown? Is anyone sick enough to have a favorite clown?
Can't say I am. No.
Favorite, for lack of a better word.
Is
anyone here scared of clowns?
I'm not. I know people have a real phobia. Some people have a real phobia of them. I do not. Pennywise is not helping in any way.
yeah. Skarsgård was pushing it in this show.
Right, dude. Right.
Yeah. Someone once asked me, and I said, it's not so much being scared of clowns, it's being scared of clowns out of their element. I equate it to, okay, say you're taking a walk in the woods and you see a mouse or a rat. You're fine because you're in the woods. That's their territory. Yep, there's a mouse. Yeah, you're going to see mice among the trees. Big deal. You see a mouse running across your living room, you're going to freak out. Same thing with clowns. I see a clown in a circus, a carnival, children's birthday party. It's fine. That's where clowns are supposed to be. I'm walking down the street late at night and I see a clown across the street. I'm going to freak the hell out and run because that is not where the clown is supposed to be.
You see a clown peeking out of a sewer drain, not where it's supposed to be.
I still remember when the 2017 film hit, some group had started tying red balloons to storm drains in various cities. It was just like, oh, you sneaky bastards.
Yeah.
Fantastic marketing.
It is. It really is.
That's actually one of my favorite things about that is because the balloons were supposed to be the main element of fear in the book, and they used them in the 1990s miniseries, but they were never that scary. But the idea that it's always red balloons somehow just makes it so much more effective.
Yeah, that's good stuff. You know, when you see one, you're just like, okay, where's it at?
Yeah, just like from now on, you see a red balloon. not a big storm, but just one red balloon, and you're gonna kind of get those goosebumps.
Oh yeah.
All right, but yeah, so this takes place. Actually, we know that Pennywise, whatever you want to call him. I know there's a million names, and I know someone's going to leave a comment say it's like that's not what it's called. It's called Bloody Bloody, and frankly, I don't care. Comes out every 27 years to feast on the fear and the flesh of this little town of Derry. And this film takes place, the series takes place in 1962. This is 27 years before the 2017 film, which took place in the 80s, as we follow another batch of kids who start noticing, yes, something weird's going on with this town. We also get to follow the military because my favorite line, you think you can put a leash on this thing? Yeah, that's the U.S. military in a nutshell.
Right.
It's a well-worn Stephen King trope, too.
Pretty much. I think I mentioned when we reviewed Pinocchio, the Guillermo del Toro version, because when they find out that the puppet can't die, yeah, he gets put into the military. It's like, yeah, that's pretty freaking typical. Whenever we find something useful, one of the first questions asked was, can it be militarized? Can it be weaponized?
Yeah.
Can our military use it?
Let's use it against our enemies.
Yep.
And this show goes hard on the scare factor. And I was legit like freaking out in a couple of scenes. Hell, I think I messaged this to you guys. My first 3 notes just from the first episode was, I instantly regret eating during the opening scene. The line, turtles are lucky, wink, wink. And just the one word in all capital letters, lamp.
There are definitely some scenes that will stay with you throughout this whole series. And yeah, I mean, my goodness, I can think of a few off the top of my head. I don't want to give anything away, but yeah, that was one of the things that really made me go, this is something that I'm going to stick with and watch, because genuinely terrifying sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the stuff, I mean, as kind of over the top as it was still pretty scary, and it was done well. Like it was done well enough to where I was like, okay, you know, the way that they're utilizing this part of, number one, the horror aspect of it is, it's done well enough to where I'm not going to dismiss the rest of the season in any way. So yeah, genuinely terrifying in some spots.
Say, what about you, Ben? What are some of the one or two of the moments that, I mean, I don't know how much you got scared by some of this. I don't know what your threshold is on horror, because we don't have you on for a lot of horror stuff. We usually bring you in for our comic book tie-ins. Go check out our review of The Last Ronin. Wink, wink, plug, plug. But what was like one or two of the moments of the series that may have like really freaked you out?
Freaked me out, like I have a couple of like particular personal fears that this show didn't exactly touch on a whole lot, but like I get, certain things can stay with me, and that's one of the reasons why I'm a Stephen King fan, is because Stephen King is awfully good at figuring out what scares you, and making something familiar and even to the point of being mundane like terrifying. He's pretty good at that, and the people whose hands that this show got left in, Andy Muschietti, who directed the 2 remake movies, and his usual suspects of like behind writers and crew did a good job of carrying that forward. And this if I didn't know who made this, like you'd be forgiven for thinking it was made by either Frank Darabont or Mike Flanagan. It's like that good of a Stephen King adaptation.
Definitely.
Like specifically the show had me in the first 10 minutes. I messaged like some of my best friends. I got a group text, going with a couple of my buddies and I'm like, you gotta watch Welcome to Derry. Like it goes off the rails in the first 10 minutes in like the best possible way. Of the first 10 minutes of the first episode, I was like, yep, I'm gonna be watching all of this. I kind of knew anyway, but like that did it for me. A little later on, where probably I think they had a good idea of like not overkilling like, you know, Pennywise up front, and it's a few episodes before you even see him as the clown. And when he shows up, it's a big deal and it's a big moment, and it's like, you know, it's getting real. Everybody run it, you know. He literally says like, you know, duck and cover kitties, and he means it, and it's true. And that, I think that was another time that it was like, okay, now all hell's about to break loose. And
yeah. Not knowing anything. I mean, I knew a little bit obviously about the lore that we were getting here, but imagine somebody just decided to pick up Welcome to Derry, had no idea what was going on. I think one of the biggest things that stands out in the show is like legitimate harm to children. Like these kids are in danger. And it is our first episode, right, where we have the theater scene, or is it right near the end of the first episode?
Yes.
Machete took a page out of Hitchcock's playbook in killing off, what was it, Ted, Phil, and Susie. We think this is our main cast,
right?
Yeah, because I'm sorry, I watched it. I'm like, okay, someone obviously took a few lessons from watching Psycho. Good to know.
Yeah,
I kind of thought the same thing. Like, I'm like, oh, we get to know these kids very nicely in that first episode, and then he just picks them off one after the other at the end, and it's like, what?
Mm-hmm. Great. I mean, that was great. And I can remember that, you know, she's reaching for that little girl's arm at the end and just pulls her arm, and that's all that's left. I mean, there is some stuff that if you were going into this not knowing what you were getting, it's done well enough to make you go, oh my goodness, what is going on? And I've got to figure out like what is it about this Derry place? So yeah, I think that's probably one of the more disturbing elements to me is like these kids they're not just safe at all. So.
Well, they say that Derry has a higher population of missing children than anywhere else in the world, and for good reason. But yeah, that first episode alone just really took me for a loop. But I think it was Ronnie's nightmare in the second episode that I needed a break from, when she, you know, sees her coming out of her mother and the giant gaping void of teeth and with Pennywise's eyes. And I am like digging my nails into the couch, just going, what the hell? I cannot remember the last time I watched something that really hit the freak out points that strongly. And I was just like, okay, breathe, it's over. You know?
Did we get an opening credit scene in the first episode, or does that happen in the second? I cannot remember. Is it the second? So brilliant, by the way. Also, I mean, I love the opening credit scene here, where we get this kind of like history of all the chaos that has occurred, or some of the things that are going to be occurring. Disturbing.
That song is also such a freaking earworm. Like,
oh my god, I know. And the art style, like these 1960s postcards, but the more they move through, the more you realize something's wrong here. The tentacle with the lollipop and the kid at Jupiter Hills getting a lobotomy.
People are on fire. What is going on here?
I love it so much. Like, I don't think I ever I watched this all the way through. I watched the season all the way through twice. The first time, I don't think I ever skipped the opening credits.
Yeah.
Me neither. You know, there are certain shows I believe you watch the opening credits on all the time. In Welcome to Derry, Stranger Things, DuckTales, never skip those theme songs. Yeah. Peacemaker, never skip the Peacemaker. Which one?
Game of Thrones.
Yes, Game of Thrones. And House of the Dragon by addendum. Speaking of which, I really got to get Night of the Seven Kingdoms on the schedule. That will be coming up, folks. We will be doing a Damn You Hollywood on that. So we keep going to that. And we also, in the second episode, get introduced to a familiar face, Mr. Dick Halloran. And I find it interesting. I don't think we have ever gotten a bad performance from someone playing Dick Halloran. Scatman Crothers, Carl Lumley. Oh my God, I'm trying to remember. Even the guy who played him in the
Chris Chalk.
yeah, he played here. But I was thinking there was the actor who played him in the Shining miniseries, the one that Stephen King oversaw. And I know a lot of people have their problems with that miniseries, and I get it. But the guy who played Dick was great. You know, he was really good. I loved his connection with the boy and how well it worked. Just like even then, that was a good performance. You know, everyone loves Dick Halloran. He is such a great character, and I love how they played him like this. And he is essentially kind of a metal detector, but he's not going to, you know, detecting metal. He's detecting evil.
Yeah. So it took a while for me. You know, I appreciate Stephen King. I know a little bit. I've watched The Shining, but I did not know who Dick Halloran was right off the top of my head until we started finally realizing what he could do. And then I was like, oh, okay. Now, yeah, him coming in, and you know, this is our connection, you know, to the wider Stephen King universe, which is really cool.
Yeah, the character and the actor who played him in this, like, depending on who you ask, he stole the show. He had so many like good moments, like where he was kind of funny, or he was heroic, or he was like PTSD,
traumatized
out of his mind,
right, dude,
multiple times.
The scene of him basically trying to open the Bombay doors of the airplane, helicopter, whatever that was, just not even realizing what he was doing. That is terrifying.
They put him through so much crap in this season alone, but like, you know, he held your attention. Like, you know, again, another, you know, Stephen King thing is that, like, you know, he puts the characters through their paces, the ones that you're genuinely afraid for some of the things that they experience, and that's what makes it scary when they're going through it all. And that, you know, Dick Halloran got that in spades in this series. Man, he almost went through more than the kids did. Like,
see, Jesse, you said you didn't recognize who it was, but The Shining is my all-time favorite scary movie. So the minute I heard that name, I was like, I'm sorry, what? I perked right up. I knew that name, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Oh my God. And I geeked out so hard.
Me too.
And then I geeked out again when they mentioned taking, what's his name? Hank to Shawshank.
Oh yeah.
You know, again,
there's all kinds of little Stephen King Easter eggs in there. Cause like Juniper Hills is also comes up a couple of times in other stories. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They mentioned Shawshank. They have certain other characters. There's allusions to, like, you know, the future of, you know, Derry, and probably some things that I missed. But they play a lot. They play around a lot. Also, the turtle imagery, which we can get into shortly, I guess. Because
we are not getting into a discussion about the giant turtle that barfed up the universe on the grounds of we do not have time to go through all that.
All I'll say is that it has always firmly been planted in the Dark Tower universe, or like the Dark Tower larger, wider universe for that reason, and probably a couple others. And if anybody wants to know more, read the books. They're great.
I made it to Wizard and Glass, and I could not, for some reason, find the time to finish it. And what is that like? That's book 4. I've been enamored with that series. And you mentioned the Gunslinger. I remember reading that back in like the mid 90s.
It still holds up, man.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I actually was on Spotify and did the audiobook over last summer, made it through book 3. And then again, got to find the time, but yeah, you mentioned the turtle thing, and I just want to say something that I've never read the book, but my understanding is that there's a lot of science fiction that is in that book that it just seemed. I'm more obviously aware of what the 90s It TV series had. I have no idea what part 2 of the movie was. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I've watched the first part. So but yeah, this all of a sudden I started realizing how much, as we get to the origin of Pennywise, which is, kind of discussed a little bit here. I then found out that like the book has a lot of science fiction elements in it, which I did not know. It's interesting.
Yeah, the story that the flashback that they go into in one of the episodes in the middle, where they basically talk about like how the native peoples came upon like the crash landed meteor or whatever. I saw some people kind of get up in arms about that, where they like some people were like, what's this about? Like, all of a sudden the clown, all of a sudden the clown is an alien. I'm like, dude, I read the book. The clown was always an alien.
Yeah,
the clown was never a clown. That's just one of his favorite forms. It's essentially like his favorite suit to put on.
Yeah, and there's a reason for that too that they explain really well in this series.
I did love seeing Bill Skarsgård get to play just the actual original Pennywise the Clown performing at the circus. And it's like, you know what? Credit the actor. He makes a good clown, and you actually see him as engaging with the kids and making them laugh. I'm like, shit, this is a good performance.
Poor Bob.
Yeah.
Poor Bob.
One of the things that I do love about us, we're talking about the characters, is that you actually almost forget about Pennywise at certain places. These characters are so engaging. The kids, you've learned so much about them, and you love watching them. You love watching Halloran on the bass with Shaw. I'm just a huge fan of James Remar, who plays Shaw. He is a character actor who I've seen in so many things. I think a lot of people remember him from Dexter. He was Dexter's dad. He was in Hellraiser 5, one of the few good Hellraiser direct-to-DVD sequels, or direct-to-videotape, whatever you want to call it. What was that wow about? Was that a disagreement? Or
No, I totally forgot he was in that Hellraiser movie.
Yeah, he was good in it.
That was a deeper cut than I was expecting.
I stand by it. I like the 5th Hellraiser film. I really do. And I've seen him in a ton of different things, and I just love seeing him pop up because I think he's a great actor. But there's so much going on, and you do tend to forget almost about Pennywise a couple of times, and then something supernatural happens, and you get jerked back into this realm of the supernatural and freaking yourself out, because now all of a sudden we have Marge with her eyes bulging out like a freaking possessed snail. And I don't care how bad that CGI is, I am never going to forget that scene.
Yeah
Eyeball torture and eyeball like gore hits differently for a lot of people, myself included.
Her laying her head down by the saw just in order to try and cut it out. Ugh. It was bad.
I can't even put eye drops in my eyes. It's like, oh my God, that freaked me out.
I still didn't trust her even after that. Like, up to that point, I was waiting for Marge to, stab. Oh my goodness, what's her name?
Lily.
Lily, thank you. I was waiting for her to do something. It was, typical Mean Girl stuff. And even after she had to cut her own eyeball out, I was like, I don't know if I trust her. And then she actually becomes a very integral part of this team. That was a good arc. It's a good way of subverting your expectations a little bit. You mentioned about how, you forget about Pennywise. The setting of this being in the 60s obviously leads to some real racial tension in this series. You're worried for the kids, you're worried for the adults on many different levels.
Yeah.
Adds to it.
I mean, if you know the story, you know where a lot of this is going. I did find interesting how many last names I was able to pick up. I'm like, oh, wait, that's going to be so-and-so's father. You realize that Hanlon is Mike's grandfather from the first book. It's like, so this guy is going to be the one in the 2017 movie who's shooting the sheep and telling Mike to, wake up, and it's like you won't know that they're pulling the gun at you until they pulled the trigger. It's like, so that's the same guy, apparently. Who knew?
This also sets up like one of like I'm sure I'm not the only one with this fan theory, but we'll get into that later too. But I immediately had a fan theory that I'm not sure I'm the only one, even on this podcast, that will share it. But yeah, I'll get into that in a minute, I guess.
Got that. Oh my God, what's his name? The bully from the 2017. That's his grandfather.
Henry Bowers.
Yeah, Bowers. Yeah, General Bowers is the racist police chief. It's like, oh, good. Being an asshole is genetic.
Yep.
We find out at the end that Marge is Richie's mother. Because he finds out her son's going to play a part in that. We have Ted, who is essentially Stan's uncle, because his brother is going to be Stan's father. Because he's obviously not Stan's father because he dies.
Yeah, I heard the name Eurus. I wasn't sure what the relation was. I didn't have a chance to look for that. So, okay. I'm glad somebody did.
Yeah, you mentioned Pennywise's discussion with Marge there. That's a big like reveal on kind of like how this evil works in regards to like being at all places at all times, which is really cool. I thought that was a really a neat dimension to how this this evil works. Really neat.
Can I get into my fan theory yet?
Oh, I want to hear it.
Soapbox is yours, man. Let's hear it.
Okay. Well, and I looked up a little bit of this just to make sure that I wasn't going completely in the wrong direction. I looked up what the plans are for season 2 of Welcome to Derry, because apparently there's going to be one. They got a 3 season plan going on for this.
They're going backwards in time,
yes.
right? We're going to go.
The next season is going to be during the Great Depression in the 30s, the last time that the entity that became Pennywise woke up and wreaked havoc on Derry. And I'm wondering if now he's gonna have a motivation to start seeking out, or even if in this season his motivation, even if it wasn't apparent, immediately apparent to it, that since all of these things, since all of time is happening to him all at the same time, what if he already knows who's going to kill him, who's ultimately going to kill him, and he's going back like Terminator style to go start knocking off parents and grandparents and great-grandparents. Yeah. And he failed in the 60s. So now he's got to go back even further and start knocking off people in Derry from back then. And, that becomes like a continuous arc, and somehow there's a lot of quasi mystical and quasi sci-fi-ish things going on here. If somebody figures out a way to kind of bridge the gap between the present and the future, the past, present, and future, maybe the only way to really get rid of the clown is to to get rid of him in the past before he has time to become what he becomes. So that's kind of where I'm thinking it might be going. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but
no, I had the same. I thought it was a great way to link the seasons. It's kind of weird going backwards. How are you going to make what mattered happen before, other than just be like, okay, well, here's the history. Well, now it matters because he knows. And so I had an inkling that might be what happens. And I was kind of hoping that that's the case. So I'm hoping that's what happens. I'm a big fan of stuff like that. So
yes, I do.
I was gonna say, so hopefully we're gonna see. I've got the names of the kids from the 2017. So hopefully we'll see some characters with the last name, maybe Kasprack, or we already saw Hanlon and Tozier. So Marsh, Hanscom, and Denbrough. So we'll see, maybe.
And we saw at the very, very, I know we're jumping all over the place, but at the very, very end of the series, we saw that, Beverly's mother had some stuff going on that we never knew about either. That hopefully they revisit, what was up with that.
How crazy was that twist? You find out that, and not to mention putting 2 and 2 together, that Ingrid, Periwinkle, is the woman that Beverly hallucinates meeting in the 2019 movie, when she's an adult. Because I think it ties in because we have the scene again. I'm going more off of the movie, the 2017 2019 movies, more than the book or the original miniseries.
So is the show.
Same director, you kind of expect that.
Yeah.
And you have the scene of Beverly going back, and she talks to Ingrid, Miss Marsh, and Miss Marsh talks about how my father was in the circus and everything. And you start to wonder how much of that is just Pennywise trying to scare her, especially when she gets out and sees that house has been abandoned and boarded up for years. It's like, where the hell did I just go into? I mean, God, that screws with your head enough. But now finding out that was all true. Ingrid Marsh's father was the basis for Pennywise the Clown. And all of that's like, yeah, my father joined the circus, and all that part of it's like, oh my God, that was actually 100% right.
And she tipped off like all of the people that came that ended up showing up to to the shack to burn it down. She was the one that tipped them off. She facilitated all of that just to be able to. So she thought she was seeing her father again. It didn't work out very well for her, but
nope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, Jesse, I know you didn't really read the book or anything, but Ben, when you saw what they were calling that nightclub, did you tell it's like that scene in X-Men 97 when you see Uatu the Watcher? You're just like, oh crap, you're not getting out of this alive.
Something going down.
As soon as. Yeah, and I'm kicking myself a little bit for not spotting it until the name Black Spot shows up. Yes. I'm like, oh no. And then they also mentioned when you had like the people from the the native people that were having their meeting, and they were talking about like every time it comes back, it goes on a little killing spree, but then there's like this one sustained extended episode of like just total chaos and death before he goes back into hibernation, which is consistent with the book. So then you're like, oh, wait a minute, it was 1962. What could possibly? Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is how this is going to end. By the way, I'm gonna knock this out. I sent both of you messages about this, but I'm gonna plant my flag in it right now, which is, from that second to last episode when all hell breaks loose at the Black Spot. I said if I had a nickel for every time in 2025 that a swinging juke joint was burnt to the ground via supernaturally driven racism, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's still weird that it happened twice.
You're not wrong. One was burnt. One was attacked by racist fueled by a supernatural clown. The other was attacked by vampires.
Right on.
Go see Sinners if you haven't. Good movie.
See it many times.
Yes, I love it. Oscar nominations are supposed to be coming out here in the next few days. If that film doesn't get,
it's gonna get robbed.
I don't want it to. It was so good.
I don't want it to either, but it's going to get robbed.
Oh, it's my second favorite film of the year. It was only beaten by Frankenstein.
It's a very good year for horror. 2025 was an amazing year for horror. I'm just throwing that out there.
Absolutely. And I'd like to think the show did contribute to that as well. But yeah, that scene of the Black Spot burning down, because they did not spare us any of the ugliness going in there, and Rich's death, hiding Marjorie to protect her and sacrificing himself. Just, oh my God. I did not see that coming. I thought after we killed off the kids in the first one, we weren't going to see any more violent kid death. And Rich was such a great. These characters, these kids are all so engaging. Like I don't want anything to happen to any of them.
Yeah, that was rough. Him, throwing Marge in there, and you could tell he wanted to. What was the word? He wanted to be her knight. It was something like that. That was sad. I mean, that whole scene was just, over the top. Like there is some horror going on there, some bad stuff. But yeah, it was rough.
HBO's got a thing about like penultimate episodes. Like Game of Thrones did this frequently, where like the episode before the last episode was like the all hell breaks loose episode, and that was true in this one too. And that was, I think, that was all the whole fire scene. That was like one continuous shot. Andy Muschietti directed that episode, and that whole scene was one continuous shot, just back and forth of people being on fire and trying to escape and getting shot and debris falling on people. It was and it was claustrophobic.
Yeah,
and it was like it was creepy. Like you kind of like recoiled a little bit. I did.
Yeah,
that. I think that freaked me out even more than the clown stuff. Was just like something that could actually happen, which is being trapped in a burning building, like that. That set off all kinds of like fight or flight responses.
Yeah, that's good.
Because you're absolutely right. The supernatural element you can take yourself out of because you go, well, obviously that's never going to happen. We see attacks regularly here in the United States that are a lot like what happens to the black spot. And it is terrifying, especially because stuff like that, it did happen. It continues to happen. It will continue to happen. It's just so scary. We got the kids in there who are trying to get out, and the fact that they don't just set it on fire, they wait. And they say, no one's getting out alive. So if you escape the fire, guess what? There's a bunch of redneck racists with guns who are going to make sure that you don't get out of there.
Yeah.
And it's horrible.
Scary. It's very scary.
Yeah, it was a pretty visceral moment, and it was intended to be. It was, there's a lot of different kinds of horror that I also appreciate that they tapped into a lot of different kinds of horror in this show. Some of it was more entertaining than others. There's some horror that you're just kind of like able to sit back and enjoy because it's kind of campy or over the top. And then there's the type of horror where it's like, this is uncomfortable.
Oh yeah. It's something that could easily happen. So that's what makes it scary.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Take a deep breath. Let's change the subject. So, going back to some of the supernatural elements, I want to ask you guys, there were 4 main scenes that just freaked me the hell out. And I want to know which of these you guys thought was the scariest. We have the opening scene with the family and the woman giving birth. We have Ronnie's nightmare, her mother. We have Lily in the supermarket, which millions of viewers suddenly decide, you know what? I don't think I like pickles anymore.
Pickle man.
And Margie with her eyes. Which of those 4 do you think was the most scary?
I'll start. Okay. So I'll rank them for me. I'll do my best to kind of rank them here. I'm going to give, starting from the bottom. So I'll give Pickle Man the bottom spot. All right. Frightening and her freaking out. But, again, it's just body horror, kind of disgusting looking, well, actually, I think a lot of this is all going to be body horror. So might as well just go ahead and check mark that for every single one of these. But I'll go with Pickle Man at the bottom. And then as we go to number 3, so I've got Ronnie. List them off for me one more time. I've got Ronnie. I've got what else?
Ronnie's nightmare, Margie's eyes, and the Maddie in the car in the opening scene.
All right, I'll give Maddie in the car number 3, and then I'm going to give number 2 to Ronnie's nightmare. That was the point in which I was like, oh boy, are we in for a ride? I don't know what else is going to top this right here. But the eyeball did. Her eyeball, not just, and you might be able to criticize it for some of the CGI stuff. Look at that. The CGI stuff that's kind of makes you go, ugh. But still, if that was something that you believed was happening, and your only recourse is to go find a saw at a shop in the school and lay your head down sideways in order to cut it off. That's next level. So there's my number one.
All right, what about you, Ben?
I can try to do the same thing and rank the four of them.
You can do that, or you could just say which one you thought was the scariest.
Well,
you can do whatever you prefer.
Well, the scariest one, the scariest one to me was the first one, like Maddie in the car, because I kind of tended to look at it from like his point of view. Like if I was stuck in a car with this family that just kept getting weirder and weirder until one of them gave birth to a demon and that was, trying to escape the car and like killing everything in sight. Like if I was in that position, yeah, like and also it was the very first like scene of its kind in the show. So it set the baseline for what to expect going forward. I didn't know how far they were going to be able to take it. And it kind of set the stage for saying like, okay, anything can happen here. Anybody can get it. Anybody can die. Anything can, manifest itself to kill whoever it's trying to kill. Which was a good idea, like a good way to start it off. Ronnie's scene with her mother, I'm sure like, people with different kind of fears will feel differently, but that it felt a little too over the top for me to be very scary. The scene in the grocery store with the pickles also was kind of like over the top, and the body horror was pretty good, but like there was better body horror to go around in the show. Besides that, the stuff with the eyeballs, I wonder if they probably would have made it more realistic if they could have, but I wonder if they had made it more realistic, they might have gotten complaints. Like,
oh yeah,
like
right,
this
dude.
is too much. This is too real. Like we had like viewers that were like puking watching the show. Like people have like an aversion to eyeball horror. I'm telling you.
They
like,
do.
I know people that it touches something in them that like nothing else does. Oh, yeah. And I'm included in that.
Trust me. If you took a college film class, you had to watch The Andalusian Dog, and you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I didn't see that. I saw like Full Cheese Zombie. I don't know if anybody's seen that one. It's an Italian zombie movie, and something happens to an eyeball that I'm not going to get into. Also, a zombie fights a shark. So there's that.
Hey.
Always fun.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, the first one, in the car, that was the one where like this kind of like had me like sit up and take notice, and in the best possible way. So that would be I would call that the scariest one of those four.
I think honestly there was only one scene that was supposed to be scary that I could not get scared of at all, and that's in the third scene. We have the kids in the graveyard, and we have them being chased by what appears to be the ghosts of Rich's family. And I am sorry, but that thing looks straight out of a Haunted Mansion adaptation.
It felt like they were auditioning like a Six Flags ride with that scene.
Oh yeah,
like they were trying to test something out. Like,
yeah. I'm sorry. I'm the one who talks about the Amblin-esque charm of kids on their bikes can do anything. But I just could not get over how goofy that whole scene was.
Yeah, and their whole plan, I think, was to get this a picture. Mm-hmm. A picture so they could prove to the adults that, hey, we're not crazy, and this thing exists. And I was like, this is a kid's plan. You knew how well it was going to kind of go, but they actually grab a picture, and of course, it doesn't sway anybody's belief that there's this thing out there. But yeah, I agree with you. I remember watching that scene, the scary foggy graveyard, and them trying to race down the hill. Oh my goodness, somebody dropped the camera. We got to go back. Yeah.
It was also aggressively like green screeny too. So
very.
There was that. It just felt like especially looking back on everything that came after it, it almost felt out of place.
Mm-hmm. I'll agree.
Mm-hmm. Most of that episode is focused on Shaw. Actually, we get him with back in 1908 when he first meets Rose and he first encounters it, and how he comes up and sees her again as when they're adults now in the 60s, and just that little bit of him saying, it's like, it's funny, I haven't thought of you, I didn't even remember you, and then I got back to Derry and all these memories come back, and Rose is like, yeah, that kind of tends to happen in this town, wink wink.
Mm-hmm.
This is also when we're first introduced to Ingrid, when she meets Lily and Juniper Hill and talks about, it's like, I really do think you saw something. And you think that Ingrid's going to be an ally to these kids. And nope, not in the slightest.
Nope. No way. Yeah, that one, and again, not knowing everything that was going to be happening, I was hoping that she was going to maybe give some assist here. And then, yeah, we finally find out that no, she's definitely got her own motivations, and they're not good.
Yeah, she ends up bringing down like, a whole lot of death on a whole lot of people for something that I guess made sense in her own mind.
Right.
They also get into like, she apparently had been trying to do something like this for a while. Like, so she was basically like bringing kids to the monster, like over the years to try to, I guess, and her motivation was like, I was trying to see if I could bring my father back out. And each time it didn't happen, but like now I've got a plan, and I'll definitely be able to see him again this time. And nope. Nope.
Not happening.
But
I'm sorry, go ahead, Ben.
Oh, one last thing. But like, it was a weird thing because like I think like Pennywise seemed like kind of amused by like what she did, and that I kind of think like there were probably two reasons why he didn't kill her with everybody else. One of which was he was probably just full at the time.
Yeah,
even though he'd go on to like go and like grab up like the entire rest of the town in the next episode, but at that particular moment he was just literally just full. He was just like, just before that he was chowing down on her abusive jerk husband's skull. But the other reason was it was like, I think he kind of got a kick out of the fact that she was wasted so much of her life just to send him victims.
Mm-hmm.
He seemed to have like this kind of like sort of amusement towards her, like she was this weird thing. Like we can probably get into a little bit about like Bill Skarsgård's performance. I'm sure that's going to come up, but like,
oh yeah,
the way he plays it just seems like he doesn't. It's almost like a parrot, or it's almost like an AI. Like he more like mimics human behavior without really understanding what it is. And you can see that in some of his speech patterns and kind of the way he moves, and he's trying to kind of approximate what a human being sounds and acts like.
Yeah.
And he kind of has a passing familiarity with what it, with what being amusement is and what kind of, being entertained by stuff is, which probably just comes with being a clown for so long.
Yeah, I mean, when I was watching it, I was like, does he have some type of? I was thinking like maybe there's some attachment here in some way, but I was like, it didn't make sense for that to be a thing. But yeah, you could see exactly what you're talking about there. Like it is trying to mimic human behavior in some way, and Skarsgård. Unbelievable portrayal of this thing. Just imagine being given the task of being like, okay, you are this thing, and being able to pull it off so well. He did a fantastic job.
I'll throw this out here right now, and I'm curious as to how everybody else thinks. I saw. Well, I know Jesse, you said you didn't see like both of the more recent It movies,
right?
But you saw one of them, right?
Yeah, I saw the first one a while back.
The first one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you also, Alexis? Did you see both of them?
Yeah, we
Mhm.
reviewed it part two here on the network.
Okay.
I'll admit I was not a huge fan of it part two, and admittedly, I think that's just because I couldn't get over some of the hilariously bad CGI.
Well,
I'm sorry, Ingrid Marsh coming out naked with her hair floating up. I was just like, I'm sorry, I know you're trying to be scary, but oh my god, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
I think I
But it
think
chapter
some
one, I actually own that on DVD. I watch it all the time.
I think some of the effects caught up with what they were trying to do all along. I think that helped, but like I'll throw this out here right now. I like I was never sold on Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise from the movies, and some of that was kind of comparing him against Tim Curry, but some
Which
of that
no,
was
you're never going to win.
which is never going to happen. Yeah,
Yeah, like
that's not a
sorry,
thing that's going to work out for you.
yeah, you cannot compare yourself to Tim Curry because Tim Curry is apex level on everything.
But Skarsgård never tried to do Tim Curry's version of Pennywise.
Mhm.
He dove back more into Stephen King's portrayal of him, or so it seemed. But he didn't have enough to do, I think, in the movies to really sell you on the kind of performance that he was trying to do. I think he was way better in this show than he ever was in either of the movies combined. He got to expand this character so much and put his own stamp on it. And now, like, Tim Curry's performance stands on its own, but this stands right next to it. Maybe
Mhm.
not ahead, maybe not behind, but right next to it. It's its own completely different thing that works. Curry was kind of playing Tim Curry playing a clown. Like Skarsgård disappears. Like,
Mhm.
this is one of those things where like they found the real character and got him to play himself. That's how I look at it. Like he does, like I said, the mannerisms, like the speech slurring, like he's trying to, like he doesn't, like he's trying to his best to sound and act human, but he's also like this kind of single-minded predator, so he kind of has to remind himself, like, oh, I'm trying to be human. I have to remember I'm trying to be human. Don't just be a complete animal at all times, because that's not going to get me closer to prey. It's it's a predatory tactic. If you
Mhm.
look at it that way, it makes him a lot scarier too.
Well, I mean, that's why he chose the clown. It's an angler fish. It's literally
Yeah,
I have to put out what will attract my prey to get them to come. And he
he's
sees how much the kids love Pennywise.
he says that to Bob too, and that was what made it click for me, because he says like the children are so drawn to you. I'm like, oh, now I get it.
Mhm.
Now I know why he likes being the clown.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I was just going to say I'll agree with you. I mean, this is from what I remember in the first movie. This is definitely this is next level for him. I mean, he's taken it far enough to where it is definitely his own thing, and he has. Gosh, man, that first moment when you find out that Maddie is not alive, and here comes. Does it duck and cover, kiddies? Is that what he says? Duck and cover?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh God, that and then that song he sings in episode. Side note: brilliant idea to hold off on showing us Pennywise until the 5th episode. I know, obviously, in the adaptation of the book, you have to show Pennywise in the opening scene because you have Georgie's death, and that's still. Both the miniseries and the 2017 film, those scenes are still brilliantly done, and just so engaging. But I'm really glad that they held off on really showing Pennywise. We see people with the eyes, the crossed eyes, and we see his smile, but you don't actually see Pennywise until Maddie turns into with that creepy little song. It's like, what is it? All the tunnels go underground where none of the children will ever be found. They wandered away to join the show and lost their way in the world below. Just, oh my God, it's terrifying.
yeah. I mean, he's drawn the kids down there. Also, the military has decided to run a mission down there at the same time. And so they're like, everybody's like right in his lair almost. And yeah, when he shows up, it's like the environment changes. Like the way that everything feels is like, oh my gosh, you guys are all dead. You're all dead. Yeah, it's a great moment in the series, and I loved it. Scary stuff.
I'm also glad, like, because Skarsgård, like, he can do that, like, himself. He can do, like, the move his eyes independently of each other.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm glad he didn't overdo that in this. He did it,
Right.
like, once. He did it, like, and even the one time he did it, he didn't overdo it. He didn't, I think it was the time, like, I think towards the end of the second to last episode, like, where he's like almost completely submerged in, like, the pool of bodies, and you only see his eyes. And his eye kind of goes this way slightly, and you're like, "Did I just see that?" Like, yeah, I think this was the only time he did that. It's a cool trick that can get old after a while.
Yeah,
I'll tell you this much: Pennywise is a very popular cosplay choice at the cons, especially like a girl version of Pennywise. I am waiting for a new version that's got the blood dip up to his lips.
It's gonna happen.
Oh yeah,
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Oh,
It's great.
Gonna say I also enjoyed in episodes 5 when we finally see Pennywise. We also get a little bit more with Halloran, and we get the first mention of the box, the way you put the ghosts into the box, which those of us who either read or saw Doctor Sleep are gonna remember. It's like, okay, so good call to that. You know, again, this really does lay some good seeds on how Halloran had came from this into what we're going to see with him in The Shining. And yeah, I do love the last line that he's taken the job. And it's like, how much trouble could a hotel be? I'm like, you know what you did.
yep.
Oh, you poor schmo. You're going to be so pissed off you took
he
that.
almost the shirt he was wearing in that scene was almost like similar to like the Overlook Hotel carpet too.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Not exactly, but you like I don't know. It made me think of that a little bit.
I think it was like a similar color combo.
The pin of it, like right here. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Oh, look at that.
There you go. That's a way better one. Yeah, that.
I told you, favorite scary movie.
It's great.
Always has been. I think that's most of what I've got here for notes. Yeah, I got that. Oh, episode 4, Mother's Little Helper. Well, now that song is stuck in my head.
Well, yeah, remind me.
Well, the kid, what, the song or the line?
Give me the song. What's the song?
Rolling Stones. She goes running for the shelter of her mother's little helper,
okay.
and it helps her on her way, gets her through her busy day.
Okay, all right.
I'm sure I just scared off what few viewers we have because I know I can't sing.
Oh, give me a few seconds. I'll scare off the rest.
No, it's one of my favorite Rolling Stone songs.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so because yeah, that's what they would call barbiturates back in the day. That's what you gave moms. It was just like, I'm stressed, I'm overwhelmed, I can't handle everything. Pop a couple of these.
I forgot about that.
Is that what the pills were? Is that what they were taking? Okay, I knew there was some kind of like antidepressant or anti-anxiety something or other.
Oh, those weren't those that kind of stuff.
Those were straight up speed, right? Like, or something.
Yeah, those were like barbiturates, tranquilizers. They were designed specifically to shut up cranky moms who had to handle all of the busy stuff with their kids and their husband and everything. I mean, there's a running joke people talk about, oh, weren't women just so much happier in the 60s? Because you always see the images of women smiling as they're preparing the meals and giving their husband a martini. It's like, yeah, they were drugged out of their minds.
They were heavily sedated, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I forgot all about these kids popping the pills. I forgot all about that.
It didn't really come to anything, though. It didn't really work, did it?
Yeah, I mean, the only point I think in which it helped, if anything, was they were at least not scared enough to be. Let's try it again. They weren't frightened too much to go down into the sewers, which I would have been. You're going to have to give me plenty of pills to get me to go down into the sewers. So that
not
got
high enough for this.
That got him.
All of a sudden now it's the A team and you're B.A. Baracus. Give Jesse the milk.
Right. And clearly, I think what they were trying to obviously allude to, we have I just had his name here. Ronnie's not Ronnie's dad. I'm sorry, I cannot remember his name. But it's Leroy. Leroy, who has the brain injury that is not able to feel fear.
Yes.
So I imagine that's probably what they were kind of doing with the drugs. It's like maybe that would alleviate their fear, and they would have a chance at least, to face this thing in some way. Whether they would walk away or not, it gives them, obviously they get the on the fragment there, and it keeps Pennywise away in the sewers. But anyway, I did think that was cool. I did want to talk about Leroy and how he has that he has no fear, and it's probably like the perfect soldier to go up against something like this. And we kind of do get a bit of a showdown there at the end between him and Pennywise, but it's the kids that come through, obviously.
The only thing that screwed him up was he ran out of bullets.
True. That's true. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting take, and I thought it was a way to, there were a couple of things in this series that I wasn't expecting. Number one, I wasn't expecting the military arc of this. Like them coming in here and being like, hey, we're going to try and put a leash on this. I thought it was good. I thought it was done well, but I wasn't expecting it. I was like, oh shit, it's going to be Pennywise versus the military. What is going to happen here? And with Leroy and his ability not to feel fear was also, I think, something that I wasn't expecting, and I thought was actually, a really good foil to Pennywise possibly. So both good elements in my opinion. It's things that I weren't expecting and were done well.
I'll throw one thing into that. Like I don't, normally I hate not like yes anding people, but I'll throw a yes but in there. When they're down in the sewers, Leroy's lack of fear does work against him that one time, like when they're in the sewers, because when the kids show up, he immediately assumed his brain is analytical instead of fearful. And he assumes that, well, the kids aren't supposed to be there, so it must be the monster. And he's about to unload on him, and then his buddy gets in the way, and he ends up killing him. Yeah. A more fearful person might not have done that. A more fearful person might have hesitated.
Right.
So right. That worked. I think he gets the idea that like this no fear thing is not necessarily always a good thing. It seems like it's a good thing, especially if you're a man behind a gun, but then you find out the negative consequences of that too. Right.
Yeah, that actually, did cross my mind as these two storylines were going to intersect down here in the sewers. It's like he is going to shoot one of these kids. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, I was so worried.
Right. And yeah, there's a moment I think where somebody either attacks his home or something like that, or no, it might have been one of the situations in which Pennywise was, giving his kid a hard time. I can't remember, but he just ran out in the street. And he's like, "Bring it on!" He was not scared.
Was he holding a gun in that scene? I couldn't remember.
I do not remember.
Like a pistol or something like that.
I feel like he had some kind of a weapon.
But yeah, he was ready. Yeah, he was ready to fight.
Yeah.
Alex, it just makes me laugh every time because, Jesse, we were just talking, we did the finale of Stranger Things. We talked about the Cold War and how the military was going after 11 because they wanted to farm her blood to create, more powerful, warriors for them. And they basically wanted to set all the Demogorgons loose on Moscow. Linda Hamilton's character says something, and then we'd have these things over killing Soviets rather than killing Americans. And now we see the same thing because this is Cold War again, and we see them saying, okay, now we can weaponize literal fear and use that against the Soviets. And it's just something you see pop up so often in movies and television. I think a lot about the first Jurassic World, where you had Vincent D'Onofrio's character. God bless you, Vincent D'Onofrio. You also are one of the few actors that barely ever turn in a bad performance. With him getting this idea that they can weaponize the velociraptors, and how everyone's like, you just don't get it. And you hear those exact same arguments when you watch Shaw trying to, uncage Pennywise, trying to dig up the chunks of the meteorite that make up his cage, trying to make this, and they have the dagger, which basically kind of takes on sort of a one ring / Horcrux kind of mentality. And we're all screaming at our TVs going, it's like, this isn't the way it works. You are not going to get it. But they don't understand. And it's something we see pop up over and over and over. And so often it does seem to pop up with Cold War stories.
Yeah. I mean, that hits a certain spot in a lot of people's brains, I think. I mean, I think that weaponizing fear is probably your ultimate weapon that you could use against your enemies. I mean, aside from annihilating them, but if you can, annihilating them leaves out the possibility of controlling them. And I think if you can fear, or if you can control fear and make somebody fear something, that's a tremendous weapon. So I understand where the military is coming from. I do not understand that they do not understand that they cannot control this thing. Yeah, that moment where they have the fragment, is it the fragment or the dagger or whatever? It's the fragment, and then they're getting ready to destroy it. Yeah, and you're watching Leroy try to talk them out of doing this. I think it was Leroy, and then you watch this thing just get destroyed, and I think that's where we get the blood pool imagery shortly after, because he awakens. Again, the folly of man, the folly of a warmongering state. It's just, we got to try to figure out a way to control our enemy. While it is a formidable weapon, if you can wield it, you're not going to be able to wield it, and not this thing. You just can't. You can't. And I don't know. I mean, maybe Pennywise is aware that that's what they're trying to do. It doesn't seem like that throughout the series. It seems like more he's focused on getting a meal. But he's clearly orchestrating things to where what the end result may end up being. So yeah, go ahead.
There's a point where I think in the last episode where he says something to the effect, I forget who he says it to. Actually, I think he says it to Marge, that they think they can cage me and they think they can contain me, and they can't hold me, and he's a little bit resentful that he's like stuck and he's bound by these things that were set up hundreds of years earlier. That he's a little resentful. He's kind of resigned himself to just staying in this one town and terrorizing multiple generations of these people. But given the opportunity, he'll go as far as he's able to go to and terrorize as many people as he can and feed on as many people as he can. Which is why, as soon as he was all ready to, take a nap for another 27 years until he got the sense that, oh crap, somebody left the gate open, and he goes running for it,
Right.
And then what happens in the last episode happens, and then they have to kind of cram him back in the barn before it's too late. And they come very close to not doing that. And like I said, I can see a similar thing happening in like a second and third season. Mm-hmm. I think, the thing about, I don't know, I have a way of thinking that like all weapons are the same in that, you should be just as educated and just as knowledgeable about when not to use it as you are as knowledgeable of when to use it. So that's just without going too far down that road, that's just how I feel about it.
Well, I think that's the end of my notes. Did either of you have any other points that I forgot to bring up? Anything else you wanted to discuss while we're here?
I mean, let's talk about the last episode real quick. I mean, specifically the final moments. We get that battle on the frozen lake, which, by the way, I mean, as Pennywise is walking his cart down and all these kids are just floating behind him. I remember going into that final episode, everything that I'd seen before, was leading up to this, and I was like, are we going to get a really good finale here? Are we really going to get, a good season finale? And I was not let down. I think
they stuck the landing.
Yeah, they did
Very
a great job. They did a great job. The final moments where, after all those, all the shit has hit the fan. And what are they trying to do? They're trying to put the artifact back into like a tree or something, right?
The tree is essentially the closest to where they can put it back, where it'll reform the barrier.
Okay.
If he gets past the tree line, then he is officially out of the cage.
All right.
So
Right.
they're trying to push it, but again, very much One Ring Horcrux. It doesn't want to. This piece of meteorite does not want to go back
Right.
into it. It wants to let Pennywise out. It is kind of part of Pennywise.
Yeah, and it essentially becomes a race at that point because Pennywise knows what they're trying to do, and all he has to do is pass that point, and he's out.
Mm-hmm.
And he just takes off running, and you see these kids are struggling to put this thing down and try to get, and it's like it's not moving at all. And then here comes Rich. Out of the ether, Rich comes in, and I was like, yes. And you watch him get his hands in there, and they're trying to push this thing down, and they're finally able to contain it. But anyway, they definitely stuck the landing in the finale. I think it was done great. I think there were a lot of elements there that it was just it was scary. It was very tense. And done really well. We got a lot of great exposition that happens in here, so you can kind of understand where they're going to go forward with the series, which perfect. I'm on board, and I'm very glad that there's a second season coming.
I am too, although I do worry that maybe it will start to over-explain things a little bit, and that's my only fear with this. There was a discussion earlier today. Somebody posted this on Facebook as from TikTok, talking about the problems with a lot of these horror prequels that we get nowadays is that they try to over-explain it, and by over-explaining it, you're taking a lot of the scare factor out. The example they used was Alien Earth and Hannibal Rising. And they talked a lot about, especially with Hannibal Rising, showing how Hannibal Lecter became a cannibal. And it's like, but isn't it just scarier to know that there's this man who, kills and eats his patients? Isn't that, what the real horror is? And I kind of got that. And again, I do think it's fascinating to learn more about Pennywise, but I really do worry that if these I'm excited. I'm both excited for the later season or the upcoming seasons, as we're going to go further and further back in time. But I am also a little on the scared side because it's like, okay, please, we do not need every little thing explained, because then you take out part of what makes it so scary, and that is the unknown. A lot of what really scares us in horror is what we don't know. It's what our imagination is kind of, trying to connect. The scariest thing in the world is what you don't see.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that we said during Stranger Things as we hit the finale. I mean, this is a valid argument, a valid concern for sure. I don't know if the second season is going to hit as well as the first season of Welcome to Derry, just because of exactly what you're talking about. We know a lot now going into this. We're not going to get another moment where Skarsgård's going to hit the screen and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, you're going to be kind of expecting that now. So I get that. I understand. But I also want to see this thing defeated, or at least, I got to see some type of resolution. I want to see some type of resolution. But I understand the concern of like peeling back those layers for sure, because that's almost guaranteed. I feel like that's going to happen in the second season. Like, we're going to learn more. But yeah. Ben, you got any thoughts?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think I'm not sure how much more there could be to explain. Like, we already went back to practically, like, we found out the origins of the life form that eventually becomes Pennywise. We found out the origin of the man that Pennywise like assumed his form. I'm not sure what might be left to explore origin wise. And I think they did a pretty good job of going into that, all of that, and explaining all of that, and still finding a way to keep him frightening, and to keep the horror factor and the suspense factor going. I'd like to think if the same people are working on the second season that they seem to have a plan, which is good. Because when you don't have a plan and you're just kind of making it up as you go along, that's when you start going into like really stupid, over-explainy territory, and you start pulling things out of thin air that don't make any sense and don't coalesce with the stuff that you've already come up with. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. It doesn't. It like I said, it seems like they have a plan. As far as like too much backstory or like too much backstory making something less scary. My response to that is always Freddy Krueger, because you go to Nightmare on Elm Street movies and you don't know what, you don't know who or what exactly he is. And then part 3 gives his entire backstory and it's horrifying.
Yeah,
and
what's that line? The bastard son of 100 maniacs,
yes,
something like that.
Exactly right. Yes. So I think if it's well done enough, like I say this all the time to anybody that'll listen to me. There are no bad, bad characters, only bad writers. If something is well written enough, you can make it whatever you want it to be. And if the writing is good, if the care that was taken with this season is follows through into the next one, I'm not too worried about it getting ruined or overexposed or anything like that. I guess it's possible. It's certainly, it's always possible. I feel like this season kind of banked some benefit of the doubt for me as far as what might come next, and they could throw it all away in the next season. I hope they don't.
Yeah,
I'd like to see more, and I'd like to see more. I like to see them explore. I don't know if they've explored everything they can with the concept. They might have, explored everything they can as far as origins, but the concept of, this creature that, feeds, that doesn't really feed. He doesn't really feed on fear. He just uses fear as a way to get, people for him to feed on.
Yeah, isn't there a line in the book, something like "fear salts the meat," something like that?
Yes, something very similar to that. And Tim Curry, like one of the best lines in the Tim Curry miniseries was, you all taste so much better when you're afraid.
Yeah.
So there's that. I think there's still some ground to be covered. Is it going to be enough ground for 2 more seasons? I don't know. I hope so.
Definitely. We do know a little bit because, again, this takes place in 1938. We do know that it's connected to a mafia shootout, which we see a hint of when they find the car with the skeletons.
Yes.
So that's definitely from that. And there's a scene in the opening where you actually see Pennywise with a freaking Tommy gun, helping mow down mafia, which I'm sorry, I can't not laugh at.
All I'm thinking about, like when I found out that like they were most likely going to do a season 2 based on that period of time, all I can think of is like Welcome to Derry, like Stephen King meets like Boardwalk Empire. Mm-hmm. Specifically like the second season of Boardwalk Empire where the mobsters show up in the small town and take it over and that kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, I can get behind that. I can definitely get behind that.
Oh, absolutely. And again, there are still a lot of other King properties that they could work into this, and there could be a lot of fun with that. Mm-hmm. So, hell, we know the Overlook briefly fell into the hands of the mob. So maybe there's a connection there as well.
There's going to be a reference of Shawshank getting built or something like that. It'll be fun to watch all the Easter eggs kind of pop up.
It's going to be a mysterious man in black that shows up.
Oh, man. He's throwing bricks are getting thrown at people. I mean, it's just crazy. I don't good stuff.
Well, the second season won't be out till 2027, so we got a whole year. But yes, if you are a fan of Stephen King, if you enjoyed the 2017-2019 It movies, please go check out It, Welcome to Derry. Really good, legit scary. This was a really great series, and we had a lot of fun talking about it. I'm really glad I had you guys on here to discuss this. Ben, it has been so long since I've had you on the show, man. I love having you on.
Yeah, I know. See, it's been 27 years since the last time I was on the podcast with you guys. I'm gonna hibernate now, and then 27 years from now, I'll be back on to do another one.
27 years, we'll get the live action adaptation of The Last Ronin. We'll have you on for that.
You beat me to it. I was about to make that exact joke. Wow.
We hang out enough, our brains all start going in the same direction.
Right.
All right, Ben, why don't you tell our wonderful listeners where they can find you?
As you can hopefully see on the thing below me that's covering up all my wonderful pins, I am Epic Benjamin J on all the things. That includes, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, YouTube, what else? Twitch, although I haven't Twitch streamed in a very long time. I'd like to get back into that at some point. But right now, I am primarily focused on finishing Heroes One and All #1, which I have been working on off and on for a very long time. And I finally, in the last couple of years, committed to finally getting it done and getting it out for the world to see. I am in the middle of inking like the last 2 pages that I need to do. They're right here.
Yay!
It's upside down, but I'll post something from that later. And I'm getting excited because it's one of those things where, like, what I say on my Twitch stream sometimes, like, it's starting to feel possible now. Like I'm far enough along where it's starting to feel possible. And I'd like very much to get this out into the world this year, and that is my goal. And I'm very close to reaching it. I got a little staycation going on right now that I'm going to get an awful lot of work done, and I'm pretty excited about that. In the meantime, I do Sketchbook Saturday every Saturday. I've not missed a Saturday in going on 12 years.
Amazing.
So including some artwork for Welcome to Derry that was inspired by Welcome to Derry. There are two personal favorites. Like, sometimes I'll do a sketch and, immediately when I'm done with it, I never want to see it again. But
I fellow artist, I totally get that. It's like, okay, yeah, wow, what was I thinking? Garbage.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. The 2 that I did for Welcome to Derry, I think I want to do more painting like that. I'll put it that way.
Your Pennywise piece alone, the way you did the backlight around him was so well done. For those who are listening, we actually had planned to do the background art for this, showing his pieces. We were unable to get high resolution scans in time, and didn't want to just give you guys something pixelated. So sorry, but yeah, his pieces of Pennywise and Periwinkle were so good.
Yeah.
If you want to come back to me in about 30 seconds, I'll try to get it on the screen. But if not, don't worry about it.
Well, I think we got 30 seconds.
Oh, wait, here we go. See, you can't see that too well.
That still looks awesome, though.
It really does.
It's blurry, but it still looks awesome.
And then that
is incredible. Holy crap.
Oh,
That's
boy.
Pennywise standing in front of the black spot, and I love it.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to paint that like the minute that I saw that too. Like, that's how much I love that scene.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's, just follow me on any and all of the things if you want to see more of that stuff. And look for Heroes One and All #1. It will be out this year. I don't know exactly when, but it will be out this year. I can promise that.
All right. Are you looking at doing any Comic-Cons this year to promote?
I was going to do Brooklyn Comic-Con. It usually the past couple of years it came out in June. I was going to set a goal to have like Heroes One and All #1 released in time to kind of debut it and get a table at Brooklyn Comic-Con. I haven't heard a word about whether or not they're even going to do one this year. So maybe I can get a table at New York Comic Con. It's been a while, and they've rejected me for Artist Alley for the past couple of years that I've tried to do it, to the point where I haven't applied in a couple of years. So
It's hard to get in that. The best way to get into New York Comic Con is actually to work C2E2, is to get into C2E2 in Chicago. It's run by the same company. And you basically can get an earlier dibs on New York Comic Con if you work through C2E2. But for the record, I've been applying to get into C2E2 for the last 5 years, and I've had no luck. So it is a hard shell to crack.
I wouldn't be able to do C2E2 probably even if I wanted to, because I don't know anybody who lives in Chicago whose couch I could crash on. And that's kind of how I do most conventions, is either it's within driving range of me, or it's within driving range of somebody I know that I can stay with. So, it's kind of guerrilla like convention going for me, and that hasn't changed. So, I'm going to see what happens. Like, one way or another, I mean, the comic's going to come out. Whether or not I'm going to be able to bring it to a con remains to be seen, but I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to see what's available to me.
Well, hopefully maybe one day I'll work C2E2, you'll work C2E2, we go halvesies on a hotel or something.
There you go.
Yeah, I still remember, I think it was a show in New Orleans. It was like 5 groups of artists sharing one hotel room, just like everyone crammed into 2 beds, a couple of people sleeping on the floors. We didn't intend for it to work out that way.
Nobody wants to share a hotel room with me, trust me.
Your snoring cannot be as bad as mine, okay?
Oh, I beg to differ.
Man, y'all need some earbuds. Throw some earbuds in, turn on the sound soother, go right to sleep. You won't hear a thing. Now, if you can overpower those, then yeah, I'm not sharing a hotel room with you.
No,
trust me, I have heard horror stories about my snoring. Okay,
No,
I'm apparently horrible.
Well, I'm CPAP horrible, so yeah.
Yeah, I had to tell my wife, you need to get looked at for sleep apnea because you are not breathing.
That's I had a similar story with my significant other, and she motivated me to make that step, and I'm a little bit more tolerable to be in the same room with now. So there you go.
I still go back to before Mark started on his CPAP, and he would talk about how tired he was at the end of the show, and we'd start singing the Jigglypuff song.
Perfect.
Oh, we love you, Mark. All right. Jesse, you want to tell our lovely listeners where they can find you?
Absolutely. So, hey, check out the Source Material Comics podcast feed. We've got 3 podcasts that we usually air over there. The Source Material Comics podcast proper, which is a discussion about comics of any era. Benjamin J. Colon has joined us quite a few times over there, especially in those early episodes. I was actually going through, I have a syndicated source material episode I drop every once in a while where I go back and edit some older stuff. And I think the last thing that aired was number 25, episode 25, which was me and Benjamin talking about Spawn number 1. So
I need to get back in touch with you, because I think I lost some of those episodes that I like to get the recordings of. So yeah. we'll talk.
Man, when Blog Talk dropped, everything went away, and thank goodness I had sense of mind to download everything before it did. So I've got everything.
I got some of it, but not all.
Yeah, it was tough. So yeah, but yeah, earlier episodes, and of course, Alexis mentioned Last Ronin. I think that was the last podcast all 3 of us did where we talked about that awesome book, and unfortunately not in the cards for a movie just yet. It will at some point. It'll happen. It's got.
We're getting an animated adaptation. They announced that a while back. It just hasn't come out yet.
Okay, good.
And yes, when that comes out, I vote. We do a comic strip, and the 3 of us come back on to discuss it.
I'm down with that.
You guys know how to reach me.
All right.
Anytime.
Yesterday was Multiple Man, Matthew Rosenberg story, where me and Mark got together and talked about let's just say there was multiple men, there was time travel involved, and all sorts of shenanigans. Matthew Rosenberg, we talked about a Joker book called Joker Presents a Puzzle Box about, I don't know, it was a few months back, and he can write some really convoluted stories that are entertaining. So if you get a chance, that dropped yesterday. And then the Unspoken Issues podcast, where we talk 90s comics all the time. The previous week on the 12th, me and Chris Armstrong got together and we talked Darkness Batman. So that was a fun discussion. Check that out. And then the Snap Material podcast, where we talk Marvel Snap. So if you play Marvel Snap on your mobile device, you can hear me and Evan Bevins talk about the last season, the upcoming season. We usually have some fun top fives that happen there. And all sorts of good stuff there. So I think that is all I have.
All right. And yes, I have, like I mentioned earlier, I've had you on for the last several weeks to discuss various TV Party Tonights. We just wrapped up last week our full Stranger Things retrospective, including all 5 seasons, and a look at Stranger Things meets Ninja Turtles. Because
fun.
That is a thing.
That was fun.
It was
as surprised as anybody else.
It was good. It's good.
It was good. It was really good. So we got that. I'm currently working on the calendar for TV Party Tonight for 2026. Now, I do know that coming up here in the next few weeks, we're going to be looking at the season 2 of Fallout. Andrew Roscoe is going to be coming on for that. We're going to be looking at season 2 of Percy Jackson. Jackson. Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters. Sean Comer is actually coming on to discuss that with me. He's a fan of the book series, so I'm interested to get his input. We're looking at adding a Night of the Seven Kingdoms since that just started. There is so much I need to get on the calendar that I have not had time to look at, so stay tuned for updates. And of course, as far as the plugs that pay me, I'm never going to let that go. Honeysuckle Rose Creations, where fashion meets fandom at the intersection of geek and chic. We've been uploading a handful of new things. If you're a fan of the amazing Digital Circus, and if you're not, I don't know what's wrong with you. Go watch that show. It's amazing. Side note, Jesse, there are 2 more episodes of that. And when they air, you and I are definitely doing a TV Party Tonight looking at it, because it is a phenomenal, amazing web series, and I love it.
Okay, I'm down.
But we just added a couple of new pieces inspired that, including earrings inspired by Kang the Ringmaster and Zubul. Yes, those are the character names. If you are a fan of geeky jewelry or just geekdom in general, come check out our shops. We have stores on Etsy, Handmade at Amazon, and I am currently in the process of opening a 3rd store on Shopify, because I am a sadist and I clearly have no question about giving up any of my free time. So I'm going to be working my butt off on that. The convention circuit we're currently on pause for. If you know me, you know, and I don't really do shows in the winter, but we will be coming back at the end of March for Planet Comic-Con that's here in Kansas City. We've got some amazing guests that are going to be coming to that, including Elijah Wood, William Shatner, Carl Urban, Jared Padalecki, Christian Borle, Erica Henriksen, Kamiko Glenn, among others. So if you're a fan of the Lord of the Rings movies, fan of The Boys, fan of Hazbin Hotel, fan of Supernatural, be sure to mark your calendars to come on out and check things out at Planet Comic-Con. We never miss that show. We love it. And as always, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok. That's Honeysuckle Rose Creations, the intersection of geek and chic. So thank you all for joining us tonight. I hope you have a wonderful night. Be warm, be safe.